Canopy, this is your review for 2. Good day, my name is Joe Gerba. Today I'll be going over the game Canopy and how it plays with 2 players. Now Canopy is a 2-player mainly game. There is a solo and a 3 to 4 player variant, but mainly this game is for 2 players. Now in this game you're going to be building your forest, which consists of these tree trunks, these canopies, these flora, these wildlife, and these season cards, as well as, a few ill-omen cards in there, some threats such as wildfire and disease. Over the course of 3 seasons, you're going to be trying to accrue the most points you can, get the tallest tree at the end of the season, and at the end of the game, have the largest forest, have the most trees on the board, and at the end of the game, whoever has the most points wins the game. Now let's see a little bit more how to play. So the Canopy gameplay is pretty straightforward. You're going to be taking turns going through the season deck. There's going to be 3 seasons. The season deck is going to be a third of the cards that are in the game, so you know your starting pile, split it into 3. And then on your turn, you're going to be looking at this this new growth number 1. Deciding, you can see it, deciding if you want it in your forest and play it face up, or you can pass. Now if you pass, you put it face down and you put another season card on top. And then you look at the number 2 pile. And you do that for all 3 piles. You have to, as soon as you choose one, your turn is done. You put the things in your forest and the next player goes. So if you want to pass on a certain pile, you're going to be adding a card for the next person, but it may not be something that you want in your forest. Now, these tree trunks are pretty neat, where you get a tree trunk and they may add points to get you this tallest tree, and you top it off with a little canopy piece. And these are some of the cards you may find in the season deck, such as these flora or fauna that you're going to find on the floor, and they give you points based on like set collection. There's also wildlife, which there's only 2 of each kind in these decks, so you kind of want to get both of them if you can. So it's kind of like a search for both, for a lot of points at the end of the game. Some of these wildlife have different ways to score and different abilities throughout the game that can really spice up and make things interesting. And then you come on to the weather cards, which if you have a sun and a rain, you get 5 points at the end of the season. Just kind of nice, a little buffer, a few extra points. And then there's the threat cards, which are also just found in the deck, where if you have 2, something bad's going to happen to your forest, and if you have 3 of something, well, you and your opponent are going to have something bad happen to you. So that's kind of the whole gist of the game. You just, once the season's done, you score the points, your fauna and flora go away, your season cards go away, your threats go away, and your wildlife stays throughout the whole game. And you just kind of go like that. At the end of the season, you may have these seed cards, which also kind of add a little bit, one last chance to get what you're looking for. In the advanced variation, there's these seasons, which we did find to be pretty interesting, kind of kept the game kind of alive for us and increased the longevity of this game. But after the 3 seasons, you see who has the most trees completed, the most canopies on their trees, and they get 10 points. Add up the points, and whoever wins the game, or whoever has the most points wins the game. So let's see a little bit more what I thought about the game. So the components in the game, pretty straightforward. There's a couple oversized cards, there's a ton of cards, and there's these point tokens, and that's really what you're going to get in the box. Now the rules itself, pretty self-explanatory once you get the hang of it, just like every game. But the rules, I'm talking this little pamphlet. I think it's 4 pages front and back, kind of describing how to play. Really nice references as well. I really like this end of season. You just run through this, boom, 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 boom. There's how you score. You kind of clean up. Gives you a breakdown of the cards that you might see throughout the game. Just a well put together game as a whole. Setup really doesn't take much time at all. Since setup, you don't really start with much from the box. You're just going to shuffle the piles, get them out there, split them into the seasons, and you start with the trunk and you're good to go. Now playtime takes about, I don't know, maybe 30 minutes, maybe 40, depending on how quick you play. And that's a perfect amount of time for a game of this size that you want. You get in, you start playing, you get to the, really can get to the table quickly. 40 minutes, it's a game you can pick off the shelf and easily get back to the table. And speaking of table, let's talk about table size. 3x3 would be probably a little bit even more space than you need with this. You can see it takes up a lot of our table space, but only because we're kind of spread out. You can really play this game on a smaller table space, which I think is awesome. So let's talk about the gameplay a little bit. Now in this game, you're going to look at a card or a set of cards, decide if you want to keep it, and then if you don't, put another season card on top and move to the next pile. It's kind of as straightforward as that. Do you want to add those cards to your forest or do you not? You got the set collection going, which is kind of neat. The pairs going both for the weather effects and the wildlife, as well as trying to actually get these big trees going. The trees can score a lot of points at the end of each season. There's going to score a couple extra, which can really put you over the edge. Got to watch out for the threats. This game is just nice and flowy. You look, you decide, you don't want it, you put another one, you look, you put this one in, you refill the pile, and it's the next person's turn. It's as easy as that. So it really flows well. It's fast paced. You need to look to see what the other person's doing and decide, do I need to take this from them or do I need to add this for to my forest for myself? And so it's really a great two-player game, and the interaction is, oh, I don't want them to have it, but I really don't want this pile. Do I take it or do I not? So that's kind of the fun of this game. Also, getting the seeds at the end of the season is just that last extra, let me try for one last thing and see what we can do. It's just a neat little game. This game is travel size. It can be played just about anywhere, whether you're on like a little camping trip or some, maybe an Airbnb somewhere and you just want to bring a small game that can take up about 45 minutes or so, 30 to 45 minutes. This game is a great game for that. So I told you about the gameplay. I do think this game's fairly simple. There is a little bit of luck involved in, what cards are kind of drawn, or you pass on a pile and when you put something on top, it's just that thing you need, but you didn't get to see it because you passed on it, but your opponent's going to get to see it. There's a little bit of luck involved. Strategy probably low to medium, and luck is probably medium in a game like this, but the replayability is great because you may not be able to get exactly what you want. These seed cards, you get to draw maybe 3 at the end of the season and get to keep one, and if it's not what you need, if it's not a canopy to finish off a tree trunk, you're out of luck. These season cards really keep the replayability fresh. You draw one every season and there's a good amount of them, so it can really alter some of the gameplay. There's also some advanced cards in here. We added some advanced cards, but there are other wildlife that you may see which just add different mechanics to the game, different flower and flora that you're going to see. So as far as what you get in this box, I think you get a lot of bang for your buck in this box, and the replayability is fairly large for for a game this size. So in all, is this game good for 2? And I do like this game good for 2. Is it the greatest game in the world? No. But is it a game that you can just have a good time with? At the end of the game, you feel like you built something. You feel like, you grew this forest from all this new growth. It's neat to see these canopies. There was one time I had a tree trunk that had 7 trunks and a canopy that gave me a lot of points. And it just felt neat to build and stack that. Now, as far as the there can be that kind of, they're so far ahead, I just don't know what I'm going to do. But you're always going to be scoring points in this game. Nobody's going to be scoring negative. You're all just going to be accumulating points. And all the games we've had have been fairly close for the most part. I think there was a runaway leader one time, but for 2 players, it's just nice. The downtime's low. You just have to look, choose whether you want them in your force, add a new card. It's nice and quick. The end of the season, you know, you can really just hammer this out. For 2 players in a game that's finally built strictly for 2 players, I really do like this game. Like I said, maybe not the most strategy intensive, maybe not the most, you know, non-luck intensive, but for a game, I love dice games, and I'm not really huge into just card games, but this game's basically a card game, just mechanic. This game is awesome. So I really do like this game for 2. I think it's really neat, plays well, plays quick, just, you know, just the right amount of time for the box it is. And if you want to, you can play 2 games in about an hour, and it's a well put together game. So like I said, maybe not the heaviest game, but still a great game. So that's my review for Canopy, and hope you guys enjoyed the review. Until next time.